Please
times.
try not to be very late. Okay. My name is Յարո Զաբավսկի. I am a teacher and an artist working at UWC Dilijan School in Armenia. And I've been here for 8 years already, and I'm excited to be with you.
So sorry, can I pass through?
Sure, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, don't worry, it's just a documentary. I'm originally from Russia, from Moscow region, where I went to school. And after that school, I learned about this opportunity to go travel abroad, and I went to a United World College in Wales, in the UK. After that, I've come back to Russia, to Moscow, where I worked and interned at a public relations advertising company, and was trying to figure out what to do with my life, who I want to be when I grow up. And I applied for an American university and got into Earlham College in Indiana, which is a small liberal arts school where, again, I could select my own subjects, just like in Wales. I've chosen art, and I've chosen particularly, probably the least practical from a common standpoint, areas such as darkroom film photography and ceramics. So here are examples of my work that I make here in Armenia, and I mostly work with vessel forms because I like that human aspect of ceramics, making vessels, the containers of something. They can contain obviously water or flowers, and I think they can also contain the artist, in my case, me. I graduated with a degree in applied arts, studio arts, and then I've returned to Russia, to Moscow, where I worked at the British High School of Art and Design with great facilities, and I was coordinating a darkroom, which was my dream, and we had a fantastic team. But during those 2 years when I was in Moscow, I've learned about this school being built in Armenia, and I was so happy that UWC is entering the post-Soviet world. So when the opportunity came, there was a job advertisement for a position at the school to be a teacher of art with a focus on ceramics and sculpture. And I thought, that's me. So I applied, went through some interviews. At some point later, was offered a job. And I thought I'm going to come for maybe 1 or 2 years, but I fell in love with the place and with Armenia and its people and culture. And now it's already 8 years that I'm here. So these are just works from the students from last year. These are unglazed pieces. The students will come back, put some color on it, bake it again in the kiln. Then we also have some works on display just for the visitors to pass by. I've got the ceramic wheel. I think this is probably the ceramic wheel, the best view in the world. My recent body of work, I call them concave, kind of volcanic lakes. And these are hollow objects, but they are inspired by volcanic lakes. So when the water kind of is here, and there are places in Armenia where you can find such landscape. So in my work in general, I'm very much inspired by landscape of Armenia. Sometimes it can be spring or winter. So this is part of my winter series where I'm loosely basing this on the snow, on the mountains and the trees. I learned about ceramics in the US and America, and American ceramics, I think it's fair to say, is heavily influenced by Japanese approach to ceramics. It's just historically is like that. And Japanese approach, of course, is influenced by Buddhism and Zen approach to minimalism, to wabi-sabi aesthetics. And if you kind of summarize that, they like the beauty of imperfections, but it has to be connected to nature, to changes, to season, and to things that the people see outside. And so I took that approach, but of course out of my window is not Japan, but it's Armenia. Armenian mountains, Sevan Lake, different seasons of Armenia. And so when I work in ceramics, I take Armenia as my inspiration. I'm really drawn to texture. Texture is very important to me. I think the ceramic is a very tactile material. I like when my works are being touched and picked up by people. I think so. In my exhibition, it says, please touch. When I was growing up in Russia, I was always interested in art, and my father is an artist, and my great-grandfather was an artist and architect. So I had something in me that was drawn to that area. But I was always afraid that I'm not talented or gifted enough to call myself an artist. I can't draw like Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo. And so it's only to do with my Western education where I saw that you don't have to draw very well to be an artist. It's not about your technical skills only, it's about the way you perceive the world and how sensitive you are to everything around you and also to everything that is inside you. They can be working in the painting studio, but maybe they're working at the gas station. Doesn't really matter, they're still artists. This facility I established when I first came to this UWC school. I just asked, can I have a darkroom? And they say, Yaro, we don't have a darkroom, but we have a room that is full of darkness. So we've turned this into a professional photographic lab. We have the chemicals, obviously the red light that is safe for the paper, the red clock. And over the years, what happened is like from this little room, there wasn't anything before, we started having students applying for the school just because it has a darkroom. And because darkroom photography is kind of popular these days, they want to come to Armenia and study at this school because we have it, which I think is cool. I think of myself also as a craftsman because I like the craft. I like expressing myself artistically, but I also like working with material in a methodology applied there, step by step. So I think craft aspect is important. This is not decor, these are all working cameras. Here on the boards you can see examples of student work that they made in the darkroom using this camera, and also they like bringing cameras that their grandparents have. In terms of photography, I don't even think of myself much as a photographer, but more of a printer. I like shooting film cameras or the wooden camera, but to me, just working in the darkroom is the pleasure. So I like to collaborate with other photographers. For me, darkroom photography is about manipulating and just playing and having fun with chemistry, paper, different objects. Maybe it's not even photography, it's just magic. This is, I think, a cool project. When students are being introduced to the darkroom, I ask them to make a pinhole camera. So the students, they each make a camera. So first of all, the camera has to work, but also it should look cool. Photography and ceramics, I would say, the main areas, and I like jumping back and forth. And I also try to make links between the two. So I experiment a lot in terms of printing photography on ceramics. And I found many ways how you can transfer photographic images to clay. Look who is here. First thing to celebrate is Gautam is back with us. I met Gautam yesterday. I said, Gautam, people are saying the class is not longer the same without you. Come back. So Gautam is back. Most of my students are from 16 to 18 years old, but I have one very special student, Gautam, who is, I think he's 75 plus years. And he also used to teach at this place, but he retired. And once he retired, he came up to me and said, Yaro, can I be your student? And it was such a humbling experience for me. Somebody so much older than me and so more experienced than me wants to be my student. Of course, I said yes, and he joined my class, and he attends every lesson with the students. He does homeworks, he does assignments, we usually receive grades and feedback, and to have him in my class is a real privilege and gift, not just for me, but also for my students, because they can see that somebody who's so much older is studying just like them and doing all the things that they have to do. It's a unique educational, pedagogical opportunity, as we say here, and I'm very happy about it. Raise your hand if you have started making art in this school, again, after summer. Okay, you're doing better than the other class, I think. Yeah, it's an important aspect that this school is a boarding school and that these students come from somewhere else and they don't live with their parents anymore. They live here together with each other. It's got its own pros and cons, of course, its challenges, because when you put them together in one space, sometimes crazy things happen because they're young teenagers. But then you have to challenge them academically, mentally, creatively. You have to provide them with sources and materials and give them food for thought, because they come from different corners of the world and then they sit next to each other or they live next to each other in the residencies. They inspire each other, and I have here many examples of projects that are kind of fusion projects. Somebody from, let's say, South Africa is inspiring somebody from Iceland. So many unexpected results come from this juxtaposition of cultures. That was the idea of this school and of this movement, is to bring these people together so that these sensitive topics, political topics, social topics, that they are kind of get together. The mission of the school is to do with achieving a peaceful and sustainable future and achieving that through education. That's the foundation of the school and its mission. And of course, students are free to express themselves. And yes, of course, they disagree with each other sometimes. Communication is key part of the school. And they are selected to this school based already on their skills of how to accept people from different cultures, how to communicate with somebody who has a different point of view than your own. We're accepting diversity and we're celebrating our differences. Hello, people. What are you doing here? Are you working?
Yeah,
We're taking inspiration from
others'
talent.
I want to know.
Yes. Fashion, again?
Fashion. This is what I'm working on, and I want to combine with the headpieces. But
Nice.
I like to choose this one or that one, and I bought beads from back home.
It'd be kind of cool maybe to add like some beads or even metal elements.
I have really, really tiny beads. I have brown and red, and I can sew them inside.
I think combination of like metal or beads with textile would be even enrich it further.
Yes, I will do this. It's on a male body this time. It's going to be made out of wire and yarn.
Male body?
Yeah, male
Let's
body.
bring one over here. Which of these four do you prefer?
First one.
The first one is, I think, is the slimmest.
Yeah. So I really love to focus here.
Very cool.
Because there's nothing in this.
Get this one. Give him a name.
George.
George? Correct. I think my mission here as a teacher of art is to create an environment in which all kinds of students from all kinds of places, from all kinds of ages, can feel safe enough creatively that they can open up their inner world and find an art form that is theirs, that they resonate with, and to open another dimension in themselves, creative dimension, artistic dimension. And if that happens, my mission, my goal is achieved. Yay, there's a painting happening already. That's what I like to see. It's very Matisse-like. Nice, very good. And I like the freedom of hand. You're doing it fast. Very good. And you're not focusing on like one little detail. You're doing first very loose brushstrokes, correct. So when students come to this place, the new students, if they join my course, what I do is during the first term and really the first year, I show them what we have. And they all try everything. Everybody tries ceramics, everyone tries photography, everybody tries printmaking and drawing and sculpting and some digital design. And then later, they have to feel and understand what they resonate with, what they liked and what they didn't like, which is equally important. Because I think so many people in this life don't really know what they like and don't really know what they don't like. Hello.
I'm struggling with perspective.
Struggling with perspective. Perspective on what things in life?
Fish perspective.
Fish eye.
Yeah, and it looks crazy. Like the idea, I just really want to get both of these buildings so I can see from the up and from the down. And also I want to see the ground and a couple of figures on it. And for this I need a fish eye.
Just make a drawing. Like the regular,
like this.
with the regular perspective. And then we'll put in Photoshop this one button, you're like, I love IB education. I think it's one of the best educational systems. And I think it's better to give students an opportunity to choose and take time when they choose. And understand that they can be flexible. You may like different things, and then life can actually allow you to combine them. You may like biology and you may like ceramics. Another aspect, when they are home, sometimes their parents tell them, you must be a doctor or engineer. Well, when they come here, the parents are far away, which is good because they can think for themselves and make choices themselves, which is freedom, but also responsibility. Get some coffee. Here I'm head of the art faculty, which also includes, apart from visual arts, music and theater. And I'm privileged to be working with fantastic colleagues and teachers. So,
No. Wait.
wait, you look great, Tadek. Relax. Armenia became my second home. I have so many friends, artists here. A couple years ago, I received my Armenian citizenship. So now I'm a proud citizen of this land and of these people, which is a big honor, and I'm very proud. I think my love for Armenia just grew, and now I think I'm not just here because of UWC, but I'm here because of Armenia. Բարև Շատուրահեմ տեսնել ձեզ այստեղ. I am learning, սովորում եմ հայերեն. Such a complicated language. When I first started, it was very difficult because I couldn't find any analogy. Because I've been communicating with Armenians in Armenian, I've adopted some of the Armenian vocabulary in my everyday slang. When I go to stores and shops, I try my best to interact only in Armenian if I can. It could have been better, but I've passed the exam when I was becoming a citizen. I had to pass the Armenian language test and exam and write the dimum in Armenian, so I can do that. I had exhibitions in Armenia before. I participated in some group shows in Yerevan, and I had my solo work show in Yerevan before. But in terms of Dilijan, this was my first solo exhibition, and I was very happy to have it at the Dilijan Art Museum, Art Gallery.
parties.
The exhibition took place at this gallery and this fantastic museum, and there's still a little bit left from the show. Some of the pieces are still on display. There are also still a couple of items that now kind of in a permanent collection of this museum. This erosion series, my Sivan Lake, and this another kind of crater island. I've got to know, I think, the Armenian art circles pretty well. I know a lot of artists here, and every year when we have our diploma exhibition with the students, I invite all of them from Yerevan, from Gyumri, from Vanadzor, from everywhere to come and see our students' work. And last year we had 50 artists. It's very important for me to feel that I am a part of an Armenian landscape, an artistic landscape, social landscape. If I live somewhere like at home, I must feel that I'm at peace and at home with the people who live near me. I would say that for me, over the years, it's actually easier to connect with locals than maybe with like Russian expats, because of so many years now that I've spent with these people here, I think I understand the mentality and the approach and the mindset. I think for Armenian people it's so important that people next to them experience happiness and joy when they are happy. I think this is something that I really strongly resonate with. Maybe because I've spent so much time in cities like Moscow, New York, before that. I needed some time to live a village life. Because of art, I'm never bored. I always have something to do. If people aspire to be artists, I think it's important that they don't just create art in the art studio, but they make their life in general a work of art. And I think this really doesn't just apply to artists, but to everyone. If we approach our life creatively and with passion, and make conscious choices about the food we eat, the clothes we wear, the people we like to be with, the places we want to travel, our whole life becomes a work of art.